Straight ahead on 12 News, call it the cold rush, where business is booming thanks to the frigid weather. Plus, a controversial proposal to let convicted felons vote while still on probation. But first, a grand vision for the future of the North Hennepin College campus.
But this is probably the most significant change we've had in maybe the life of the campus.
12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. In the next 5 years, North Hennepin Community College could look like a much different place.
As Delane Cleveland reports, campus officials are eyeing a significant investment in the college's future.
Parking at North Hennepin Community College during the winter is not exactly the most convenient thing in the world.
It sucks, but especially in the winter because you're freezing cold.
Just ask students like Kelvin Shung.
There's too many parking spots away from the school. So I gotta park all the way down there, and then I gotta run to my building.
But in the next few years,
this animation shows the 85th Avenue station platform.
The campus could sit alongside a new light rail line.
The 85th Avenue station provides convenient access to North Hennepin Community College.
On the one hand, students will have another transportation option. On the other hand, the campus parking lot could shrink.
If and when that happens, we have the potential to lose about 80 parking spaces in the west lot.
Essentially moving fine arts.
Today, North Hennepin showcased 3 different diagrams that outline concepts for the college going forward. It's asking people to vote on the elements they like.
This is probably the most significant change we've had in maybe the life of the campus, where we're looking at a major transportation point change.
Their overall vision also includes a new performing arts center that would be built in conjunction with the city of Brooklyn Park, a new main entrance, and possibly a new parking structure to replace spaces lost by light rail.
This is kind of a very significant era planning the future now, because the light rail is going to have a significant impact potentially on campus. It'll expand our recruiting basis.
While it's not a done deal yet, campus officials see it as a positive.
We're working on developing a lot more partnerships with four-year universities.
And even though the college would initially lose parking spots, so do students like Chung.
So a light rail would definitely be a benefit to us all.
Well, campus officials say they're about a third of the way through their planning process. If people weren't able to weigh in at today's open house, they'll have another opportunity to do so in April. And Mike and Alex, campus officials say that next month will be the groundbreaking of a new Hennepin County library. Just right across the street, there's plans to even connect both of them with a skyway, so a lot of exciting things happening over there.
It's going to be a busy corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of activity.
Thanks,
Dylan.
The issue of amplified music in city parks once again drew passionate pleas in Brooklyn Park. The city recently banned amplified music in all of its parks. Oak Grove Park was the last to allow it, but amplified sound became a problem there too because of homes built nearby. At a Recreation and Parks meeting Wednesday night, some residents felt the ban had marginalized certain cultures.
What this ban means is that we no longer are allowed to use any of our cultural way of celebrating our events. This ban completely marginalizes the community in Brooklyn Park, which is the 6th largest city and the city with the most foreign-born residents in the state of Minnesota.
Councilmember Mike Trepanier says the real issue isn't the people who gather there. He says the real issue is the noise.
And it isn't a one night a month occurrence. It's been basically quite a few nights. There can be groups that have a gathering there, and all goes fine. The sound level is okay, but it's gotten so a number of nights that isn't the case.
Trepanier thinks there can be solutions. He just doesn't know what they are right now.
The Minnesota Department of Education released numbers today that show school suspensions are down 20%. Meantime, educators met today to discuss ways to reduce bad behavior and lower the suspension rate. Northview Junior High Principal Jameel Payton says his Brooklyn Park school has seen a decrease in suspensions since they've started using a method called positive behavioral intervention services.
We went to individual classrooms, and the teachers took what our 3 R's are, be respectful, responsible, and safe, and be ready. They brought it into their classrooms, and with each one of their classes the first year, they really talked about what does it look like, what does it sound like, what does it feel like.
State data also shows a decrease in the number of suspensions for minority students. For Black and Hispanic students, suspensions each went down around 27%.
He helped pass a bill to raise the minimum wage. Now a Golden Valley lawmaker wants to establish a statewide family leave program. Representative Ryan Winkler is the chief author of a bill that would give workers up to 6 weeks off for a birth, adoption, or to take care of a sick family member. To pay for it, workers would contribute up to $78 per year out of their paychecks, with companies matching that amount. Some business groups are against mandating benefits, saying it would hinder flexibility in dealing with different individual circumstances.
Should convicted felons have the right to vote while they're on parole or probation? That is a question that's debated today at the state legislature. County Attorney Mike Freeman says voting is part of getting reestablished in a community. Freeman also says it's expensive to investigate felons who vote illegally.
And the problem in the present law is there are a number of people who really technically cannot vote because they're still on probation and don't know it, so they try to vote anyway. And if they vote, we have to investigate them all. Under the present statute, we have to prove that they knew they couldn't vote at the time they voted. Not easy to do.
Senator Warren Limmer of Maple Grove wondered what crime victims would say about it. None were scheduled to testify before the committee. Today was one of the coldest days of the season.
The temperature in the metro this morning was 11 degrees below zero, and as Sonia Goen shows us, the weather isn't fit for man or his four-legged friend.
Now, Mike and Alex, normally this Crystal Dog Park is full of pets and people, but on extremely cold days like today, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone out here. We found some pet owners who'd rather their pets play indoors. No cold canines in here. It's a balmy 70 degrees at the Adago Pet Hotel in Maple Grove.
It's very good for our business, absolutely, when it's cold like this.
This place is packed with pooches who would rather play indoors.
We're typically going to see 10 to 15% more people come in with their dogs, and because they want to play with their friends.
There are 3 different rooms for the dogs to romp around in.
We have bridges and we have things for them to climb on.
But let's be real, having your pet play inside on sub-zero days not only benefits man's best friend, but man too.
Their owners, they want their dogs to have fun with their friends, and they poop out, and when they get home, they don't have to take them out for walks in the cold. They've had all of their exercise time with us.
He's just a year.
Seth Berstrom says his dog Brody really doesn't like pouncing on the cold pavement.
He picks his paws up off the ground and kind of has fun shuffling around out there. He'd rather roll in the snow than walk in it.
Brody would rather be pampered and protected from the extreme elements.
Keep him inside, doesn't go outside very often, and bring him to the spa.
And that's an ideal situation for pets and pet owners.
And he'll go home and sleep the rest of the day.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Well, up next, we're off to Armstrong High School to meet this week's standout student.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Champlin Park Gymnastics team is set to shine at the state meet.
But first, up to 1 inch of snow possible on Friday. It's a lesson of trial and error with LED lights and low voltage circuit boards for 4th grade students at Weaver Lake Elementary in Maple Grove. The Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math School was recently recognized for having one of the top 3 elementary STEM programs in the country. The goal of STEM is to promote critical thinking skills and creativity-focused learning in preparing students for future careers.
If I go to school to study to be a chemist or a biologist, I'm less likely to find a job. Most of the new jobs are happening in combinations and overlap. So people need to be creative, they need to be collaborative, and they need to be critical thinkers, because the landscape for our students is just changing so quickly that we want them to be able to adjust to whatever is coming.
Weaver Lake Elementary topped hundreds of other schools for the STEM Excellence Award recognition. Well, you won't see our standout student light up the stage at Armstrong High School this Friday night.
But there is no doubt senior Erin Kluver is calling the shots behind the production of Kiss Me Kate. Reporter Shannon Slatton introduces us to today's standout student.
It's only before a show begins in rehearsal.
Okay, can we get a team working on the backstage set so we can get it off stage and set for the top of the show, please?
That you see 18-year-old Erin Kluver on stage.
Hey everyone, crew on stage, please.
The upcoming production of Kiss Me Kate will be Erin's 11th production on the Armstrong High School stage.
She's got great leadership skills, and she really balances between being a leader and being someone that can be relied upon and trusted, and being a peer. So it's a really tough thing, especially in a stage management position, to not go too far one way or the other, and she just really rides the balance really nicely.
Did this pole get bent?
Erin actually started out acting as a freshman.
Oh, this is my prompt book, so it has all the cues and stuff during the show.
But soon discovered she shines brightest here, calling the shots.
It puts me in a place where I get to see every side of the theater production. There's the cast, the crew, and there's the paid orchestra, and I get to interact with all of them and put it all together into a wonderful production.
Her detail-oriented approach and devotion to the program.
The theater program is basically my family. I love them, and I consider this place a second home.
Has earned her the respect of her teachers and her peers.
I pointed out to everybody yesterday that she was going to be interviewed for this, and she was just so embarrassed, and the cast and crew and everyone gave her a standing ovation because they were all so proud of her. And I just think that's really telling of her character.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Erin plans to attend the University of Northwestern in St. Paul and study marketing. And if you want to see Kiss Me Kate, there's a production on Friday night and next weekend too. Coming up, Basswood Elementary students receive a singing treat via The Voice.
But first, Terry Tuma drops a line for his weekly ice fishing tip. John Jacobson is in next.
The Champlin Park High School gymnastics team is going back to the state meet for a second straight year. And the Rebels have the potential to challenge for one of the top spots. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Champlin Park went to the state meet last year for the first time in school history and finished last. This time around, the Rebels are aiming a lot higher.
This year our mentality is kind of different because last year going into state, we were really nervous. We'd never been before. Like, we didn't have the scores that we have now. So this year we're kind of going in like we could place higher, we can actually do some really good stuff. So we have a more go-getter attitude this year.
Last year we were just kind of happy to be going, but this year like we're scoring pretty high, so we're hoping maybe even to place like top 5, top 3, so we can maybe show people what we've got.
Champlin Park suffered through a glut of injuries and illnesses this season.
You know, it was an interesting year of probably higher than average sicknesses and little dings, and so the beginning of the year we never quite put a full team together.
The upside of getting well right now is the girls are fresh and focused for the biggest meets of the year. That was evident at the section meet when the Rebels put up the highest score in school history.
They're proving what they showed me last year at state, which is that you know, they're just phenomenal competitors. When the pressure is high, they perform well, and so that's been one of our kind of things going into this Friday is trust your training and trust what you've shown already in each other that you'll perform well when the chips are down.
Roseville area is the defending state champion and the odds-on favorite to win again. But Champlin Park has experience and talent, and Coach John Wynia believes his team could finish in the top 3. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Well, Wayzata's gymnastics team is also back at state for a second straight season. The Trojans won the Section 6 AA title last weekend, scoring a season high for points with 143.325. Wayzata also qualified a handful of individuals to state as well. The state Class AA team gymnastics meet is Friday at 6 p.m. at the University of Minnesota Pavilion. The individual state meet is Saturday night, starting at 6. Spots in the individual portion of the state wrestling tournament are up for grabs Saturday at a couple of local schools. This is footage from last weekend's team tournaments. Wayzata hosts the Section 6 3A individual competition Friday and Saturday. Armstrong, Cooper, and Hopkins are also in this section. Osseo will play host to the Section 5 3A tourney. Champlin Park, Maple Grove, and Park Center join the host Orioles in this one. In the Section 5 finals tournament at Osseo, finals are slated for about 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. In Section 6, action starts Saturday morning at 11 with finals at an estimated time of around 1 o'clock. If you're headed out ice fishing for walleyes yet this winter, consider cutting 2 holes in the ice instead of 1. Pro angler Terry Tuma explains why in this week's Channel 12 Ice Fishing Tip.
We all know about using 1 and 2 holes for fishing walleye. In fact, we talked about this approximately 20 years ago. When you have a tough bite for walleyes, you know, have one hole with a dead stick and the other hole is becoming an attractor. Believe it or not, this works extremely well for fishing crappies for a tough bite fish. In other words, so you're going to have a dead stick rod here. You can also use, you know, I use a spring bobber with a dead stick, put it in a rod holder, but you can use a bobber system on these conditions if you do desire to do that. And then the other rod, you're going to be jigging quite abruptly or quite violently and pounding the bottom. So now all of a sudden this rod becomes the attractor, and the live bait, the minnow, on the dead stick rod becomes the trigger. So you've got an attractor here and a trigger there. It's an excellent way to catch these tough bite crappies under many conditions of fishing pressure and weather conditions. And the body of water we're fishing also is a big factor. Give it a try. You are going to increase your success for tough bite crappies when you're using 2 holes, one a trigger, the other becoming an attractor, working extremely well. Be sure to tune next week for another tip, and just keep enough fish to enjoy eating that dinner tonight.
All right, thanks, Terry, and that's it for sports.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, one voice and lots of positive energy.
We're in Maple Grove to hear from a special visitor when we come back. Well, finally, a famous voice echoes through a Maple Grove school.
Kat Perkins from television's The Voice spoke to students at Basswood Elementary School today. The former nanny who grew up on a farm in North Dakota says her time on the show was one of the most scary, incredible opportunities of her life. Perkins believes if you can dream it, you can do it. And Basswood has a similar motto. It helped the school get Kat to come for a visit.
I'm always putting feelers out there to the community and to anyone that I feel I can come and contribute to our positive school climate and our message here. And you know, if you don't try, you never know.
And the principal there, Principal Smith, joked that he's going to try next for Garth Brooks or maybe even Elton John. So why not? If you can dream it, you can do it, right? That's all for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We leave you with a song today from Kat Perkins. Enjoy, everyone.
What crazy chances would you take? It's all right here in front of you, all right here in front of you. There's no love without heart.